Hi everyone, my name is Gabriel and this is the Hour of the Raven, your channel for everything Ravenloft, RPG, Dungeons and Dragons, and horror.
Today we will explore the secrets of Demise and delve into the deepest mysteries of the island and its dark labyrinth. Before we begin, a few clarifications. Today we will explore the domain of Demise, and we will expand our reference sources to address this domain. Our exploration through the mists in the core domains of Ravenloft generally cover domains that had already been featured in novels, adventures, and especially in the Ravenloft Gazetteers, books that provide detailed information about the domain and their Dark Lords. Up until now, I have been careful to present Ravenloft in my videos using official sources. However, in the case of the Demise and other domains not previously covered by the Ravenloft Gazetteers, I intend to expand on the sources of information. The domain of the Demise first appeared in the Monstrous Compendium Volume 2 and received a brief mention in the book Domains of Dread. The domain would be covered in one of the 3rd edition Gazetteers, focused on the domains of the Sea of Sorrows, but unfortunately, White Wolf's license to release books for the setting came to an end, and these books were not written. The Ravenloft fan community wouldn't let the setting rot in oblivion. The Fraternity of Shadow website, the most well-known and organized site for fans of the setting, has published netbooks that continue the Gazetteer's proposal, exploring in depth the domains of dread. Some of these books explore the Nocturnal Sea, the domains of Soreng, or the cluster of Zerisha, for example, and for some time now they are developing a gazetteer for the Sea of Sorrows. Although the Sea of Sorrows gazetteer is not yet finalized, some of its passages describing domains have already been previewed by the authors in the Court of the Raven netbooks. In the video description I will leave the link where you can download it. The next videos about the Demise will be based on the official material and the article about the domain written by Ron Lauffer. The article on the Demise was published as a preview of the Sea of Sorrows Gazetteer, and it's possible that the final text will change when the Gazetteer is finally published. Are you ready? To escape the horrors of Markovia, we stow away on a ship. After being discovered, we are forced to take to the sea to escape and swim to the island of Demise. Trapped on the island with no chance of escape, we explored its desolation and dormant jungle-covered caldera, but encountered no inhabitants until nightfall. As night fell, we noticed the arrival of strange fairy-like creatures who began to roam the jungle, tending the plants as if in a vast garden. Our approach caused these creatures to flee, except for one. With a mysterious look and eerie silence, she guided us to a previously inhabited cave and left us to our own devices. There we found ancient records of Captain Werner, a survivor of the Doma Orama ship, who tells the histories and horrors of the island. As we explored these documents, an old figure approached the cave carrying a fish. A very old Captain Werner is startled by our arrival and invites us to meal what he has caught over on a makeshift fire. We inundate him with questions about his situation and the island, and he reveals many of its dark secrets.
Hour of the Raven.
The island of Demise is shrouded in mystery and enigma, and few know its secrets. Unwary explorers might believe the island to be completely uninhabited, finding no animal life in its desolation, or even in its dormant volcanic caldera, where a vast jungle spreads. This hasty conclusion can be fatal. Besides the mysterious fairy-like creatures that inhabit the subterranean caverns, another mythical and fantastical creature had made its home on this island. Sailor stories and records from countless ships circling the island point to the existence of a huge bird, whose wingspan reaches almost 30 feet, which has made its lair on the rocky walls of the island. It is widely speculated that this bird feeds on large fish, dolphins, and even small whales, but there are reports of small ships being attacked by the beast, and sailors being lifted into the air by its talons. Although many claim the creature's nest is in the rocky heights, no one has been able to find its refuge, and some speculate that this rock bird is migratory, remaining on the island only during certain periods of the year. The jungle in the crater also holds sinister dangers. In addition to many carnivorous plants and strangling vines, a disturbing statue garden can be found in two distinct locations amidst the forest. These statues clearly display expressions of pain and panic, raising questions about the sanity of who carved and placed such distinctive and grotesque group of sculptures in the forests. Approaching or touching these sculptures could be a fatal mistake. The statues are victims of a powerful virus capable of petrifying its host. Just skin contact with the surface of the statues can transmit the pathogen, immediately making the skin harder and rugged on the spot. Usually, this virus slowly spreads throughout the victim's body, calcifying their skin until the victim is completely petrified. This process takes days, but victims of this pathological petrification remain conscious and alive for months after the total petrification. Although reports of this dangerous virus are found in other regions of the Land of the Mists, the proximity of the statues in the jungle indicate the presence of an even more potent and aggressive variant of the virus on the island, capable of destroying its victims in a very short period of time. At first glance, exploring the island's surface may reveal a desolation, completely uninhabited. However, beyond its dangerous vegetation and deadly viruses, many creatures inhabit its depths. Beside the small community of elven shadow fae who inhabit the tunnels and caves, other horrors also lurk in the darkness. Grim accounts attest that an unusual number of supernatural manifestations can be associated with the presence of elemental creatures. Other elven accounts report to the existence of dangerous slimes and oozes lurking in the caves, devouring organic matter and any unwary individuals who cross their path. A more sinister tale reveals the haunting presence of a group of undead skeletons who behave aggressively to defend part of their territory deep underground. A common factor among all these monstrosities is that they are blind, devoid of any form of traditional vision, perceiving the reality around them through other senses and supernatural means. The survival of these creatures in the depths of the caves may be a consequence of their lack of vision, as it is speculated that the true horror that inhabits these depths is a monster capable of petrifying its victims with a mere gaze. The power of this supernatural gaze is so great that not even the spirits that haunt these lands can escape, and these inhabitants of the ethereal border between the material and spiritual worlds are vulnerable to its power. The petrification of spiritual and spectral creatures has a strange effect on the island. Its mysterious low-temperature zones are nothing more than amalgams of petrified spirits, and even those who unknowingly pass through their spectral bodies can feel chills of the grave, even amidst the jungle of the sleeping volcanic caldera. The greatest mystery of the island, however, is the jungle-covered structure that can be found at its center. The labyrinth, with its single entrance covered in runes, challenge those who dare to explore its mysteries and corridors, and appear to have many underground levels beneath the jungle-covered structure. Even experienced explorers who take countless precautions, like recording maps and marking corridors, end up completely lost as they delve deeper into the structure. The labyrinth defies the reason and sanity of explorers, but the cause of this disorientation in its corridors stems from the labyrinth being infused with powerful illusion magic, which deceives and imprisons its victims within, altering passages and corridors, erasing markings, and confusing perception. The sinister truth is that the labyrinth and its illusions are controlled by a supernatural entity, a malevolent and cruel intelligence whose nature seems intrinsically linked to the sinister past of this domain. Those who explore its corridors may encounter statues of its former explorers, petrified and with a look of horror on their faces, unlike the statue garden in the jungle, which were transformed by the action of a powerful virus. These statues are a harbinger of a monstrosity that inhabits the labyrinth. Despite the numerous illusions and the ever-changing appearance of the labyrinth corridors, there are some rooms within that always remain unchanged. Some say that at its center lies a round room from which one can see the starry sky above. No exploration of the jungle has ever found such an opening, which suggests that this view of the sky may also be an illusion, or that perhaps the jungle itself above the opening may be an illusion as a sinister trap. The most macabre of the rooms found in the labyrinth is the stone nursery. This room never changes its layout and contains several crypts. Within each of these crypts, small humanoid figures can be found, newborn babies completely petrified. Explorers claim to have found this room after hearing a melancholic and mesmerizing song emanating from this room through the labyrinth walls. Perhaps this sad and mesmerizing song is the same one that some sailors claim to hear when passing near the island, emanating from its rock formations, and which has lured so many sailors to tragedy. Maybe the sinister nursery has some connection with one of its best-known explorers, of whom only a grimoire and vague notes were found by subsequent explorers. The wizard, known only as Omega, left behind a mysterious grimoire with powerful and creative protective spells never heard before. What little has been uncovered about his past reveals that he came from a distant, previously unknown land, and that he relentlessly sought to uncover the mystery of his origins, as he was unaware of his true parents. After consulting oracles, his search led him to the crater of a dormant volcano, shrouded in mist, and he was reportedly swallowed by the mist and taken to Demise. His fate on the island is unknown, and perhaps he has become another victim of the sinister labyrinth. Despite all the dangers that lurk on the island, there are still a few brave souls who dare to explore it. Astor Minard was a petty thief in Martyria Bay, and he ended up boarding a ship to escape the authorities. Unfortunately, the ship sank, and only he and the first mate Dallara survived, reaching the island of Demise. Their exploration of the island led them both to Demise, and on the first night, Dallara was petrified by the labyrinth's mysterious creature. Astor was shocked to realize his companion's fate, and decided to use a powerful magic artifact he had obtained a bag of holding, to take the entire Dallara statuette with him. He then sought to escape the labyrinth, and thanks to his natural talents as a thief, a possible innate resistance to illusion, or even the malevolence of the entity controlling the maze illusions, he managed to escape. For weeks, he sought to build a boat from jungle materials, and finally set sail, managing to be rescued and taken to Demonlieu. In Port Alucine, Astor abandoned any attempt to save Dallara, and chose to present himself in the capital of the arts as a skilled sculptor. The realism and grotesque horror on Dallara's face led many to herald him as a great artist, a master capable of producing a great masterpiece. Capitalizing on his fame, he now poses as a great sculptor, benefiting from the money and fame. However, from time to time, he must return to Demise to venture into the maze, seeking new pieces that could serve as his sculptures. The island's most famous inhabitant, however, is Captain Werner, the survivor of the Dorma or Dama shipwreck, whose tragic sinking marks the island history. After getting lost in the maze, and seeing all his companions petrified by the mysterious creature that inhabit its corridors, he managed to escape, completely blind. Perhaps his lack of vision spared him from the labyrinth illusions, but he managed to escape and live on the island as a castaway in a cave. Despite his blindness, he finished his story and sent it out to the sea in a barrel, perhaps hoping for a rescue that never came. Time passed, and the blind survivor waited until his death for salvation on this cursed island. However, his spirit did not gain the rest it deserved, and he still haunts Demise. We share a meal with old Captain Werner, and he tells us about Demise's sinister secrets. Our conversation is interrupted by a woman's beautiful and melancholic song, which seems to emanate from the depths of the earth and throughout the island. For a moment, we are hypnotized, and we rise to leave the cave when an icy touch paralyzes our arm. Werner grips us with all his strength, but we realize his nails and fingers are penetrating our flesh, and we are standing before a ghost of the old captain. The cave, that until recently seemed like a refuge, revealed itself as a long-abandoned lair, and even the food we ate is nothing more than dust remains of a long-rotted meal. We are overcome by horror and intense cold, but Werner does not release us, telling us that he will not allow us to suffer the same fate of his crew. Paralyzed, we hear his spectral voice whisper the true horror of Demise, the Lady of the Labyrinth. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, and let us unveil the past and secrets of Althea, the Dark Lady of Demise.